Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell down below so that you'll never miss another upload. In today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the pros and cons of heat training your hair. You know, unfortunately, with anything that you do to alter the structure or curl pattern of your hair, there are going to be some cons, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and get those cons out of the way. So the first con of heat training your hair is that it is going to weaken the internal proteins of the hair. Because you are putting heat on the hair and changing the structure and curl pattern of the hair, you may see some weakening of the hair and also some breakage. Unfortunately, if you're putting heat on your hair a little bit too often, you're definitely going to see more breakage. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on how I'm retaining length with my heat training journey in a separate video. But yeah, I haven't had any type of breakage as of yet. So I'll go ahead and do another video on that so you guys could just know and get a feel of how I'm having a successful heat training journey. So another con is basically now in the warmer months when it's been like 100 degrees. It's just been so hot everywhere around the country, so unfortunately your hair is going to sweat out. It's gonna get puffy and the humidity and the heat, even with like, you know, taking showers with the steam in the shower, it could kind of revert and get puffy. Or also when you're working out, you know, there's things that you have to do to definitely prevent your hair from reverting back after you work so hard to get it straight in the first place. So that's definitely going to be a con because, you know, when you're first starting out, like me, like I noticed that definitely like now, like I don't even like put the flat iron on my hair when it's super hot. I'll just do a blowout. Like today I have a blowout and, you know, I just wrap it at night, and today I have it in a kind of like a braid because I am going to go out and run some errands. So I don't want it to puff up, and it's definitely gonna puff up if I have it like all out and down. So I just like to have it like pulled back or braided, or maybe like in a bun when it's super hot, just so it's less likely to revert. But yeah, definitely be prepared for that hair to puff up during this time of year. And even in rainy weather, if that water touches your hair, nope, girl, the hair is going to revert with some water. Like you caught in a rainstorm and you don't have an umbrella, I would highly suggest keeping a hat in your purse. And also I like keeping those ponchos from the Dollar Tree in my purse for emergencies, because a few years ago I did get caught in a very, very bad rainstorm, and I'm so glad I had that poncho. But definitely always be prepared for any type of weather, rain, snow, humidity, sweat, anything. Just be prepared for that. So another con is that since you're putting heat on your hair, it's going to look thinner and flatter, which I don't know, that some people may be a good thing or it may be a bad thing. I don't mind it, like especially when I'm just, you know, on my weeks when I'm doing my blowouts, because my hair still has that fullness to it. But when I flat iron it to be like really bone straight, then it kind of like looks a lot flatter and thinner. And yeah, that might not be appealing to some people, but for me, I actually don't mind it, you know. And there are ways that you can like make it fuller, you know, by putting some curls or flexi rods or whatever in it. But for a lot of people, they may not like that type of look. And another con would be that your hair may easily get weighed down. I know for me, whenever I flat iron my hair bone straight, it gets super weighed down very, very quickly. By the second week, it's already looking a little bit weighed down. And it just goes along with what you're putting in your hair before you do your silk press. But even for me, like I don't put a ton of product. I just do the heat protectant and then a little bit of the serum when I do my silk presses. But still, by like the second week, and especially the third week after my silk press, it just gets so weighed down, and I notice that my scalp gets really greasy easily. And you know, that just, you know, at that point I can't even wear my hair down. It's like already in a ponytail or a bun. So that could definitely be another con of heat training your hair. So those are pretty much the biggest cons that I found with heat training your hair. So let's go ahead and get into the pros. So the first pro, of course, is that your hair is way easier to manage because it's already in a stretch state. You can easily comb through your hair, comb through all the shedded hairs every day, every other day. You can easily wrap your hair at night. When you're doing your wash days, it's going to be easier to manage in the shower because it's going to eventually like loosen your curl pattern. So you're not going to have to spend like over an hour in the shower trying to like, you know, deal with your hair. So the second pro, and this is like one of the biggest, I would have to say, is single strand knots. Since your hair is being heat trained, is more or less likely to see those single strand knots because you're not going to be manipulating it constantly with like the wash and goes and the twist outs and all those things that you have to constantly manipulate your hair and have to go back in throughout the week to retouch it and restyle it. You're basically keeping your hands out of your head a lot of the times. Like, I mean, a lot of the times I don't even touch my hair throughout the week, to be honest. It's just how it is. It's just so easy to manage. And because I'm not dealing with, you know, my kinkier texture, I'm not seeing those single strand knots anymore. A third pro, and this is the pro that I absolutely love, is that you're able to see your length. Like if you have type 4 hair and a kinkier texture like me, like I don't know about you, but me personally, I want to see my length. You know what I mean? If I were to wear my hair in its natural state, it's going to shrink up probably to about my shoulder, and my hair is about to my waist at this point. So I want to see that length that I worked so hard to achieve. You know what I mean? So another pro of heat training your hair, I would have to say, is that styles are easier to achieve. It's like you do a style and you pretty much know how that style is going to look. You just have to maintain a style, but you know how it's going to look, you know, in comparison to when you're a curly natural and it's like, okay, I don't know how this wash and go is going to turn out the next day. Meanwhile, you have to go to work the next day and you're hoping that the style holds up and looks good, but you really don't know how it's going to look, especially if you never tried that style before, or even if you tried that style, it's like you kind of don't know if it's going to work out how it did before, especially with like the humidity and everything. The weather changes, the rain, it's like, okay, my hair's going to puff up, it's not going to look how I want it to look. But when you're heat training your hair, whether you silk press it, put wand curls, or whatever you do, you pretty much know how that style is going to look. So you don't have to be like, it's not going to be a guessing game as to how your hair is going to look the next day. You pretty much already know. So the next pro for me, I would have to say, with heat trained hair is length retention, because you're not getting those single strand knots and you're not always manipulating into your hair like every day or every few days from being a curly natural. You're definitely able to see more length because, you know, I barely touch my hair in between wash days. I may touch it to maybe, you know, kind of comb through the shed hairs and to like maybe put some flexi rods in, but I'm not really doing a lot to my hair. And I do work from home a lot of the time, so I mean, a lot of the times I just have my bonnet on all day, so I barely touch my hair, to be honest. Even when my hair's flat iron, it pretty much stays that way until next wash day, which is like 3 to 4 weeks. So, you know, you're keeping your hands out of your head a lot less. You're not getting those single strand knots, so therefore you are able to retain more length. So that is pretty much it for my pros and cons for heat trained hair. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if I missed any pros or cons that you've been noticing with your heat trained hair. And be sure to subscribe to the video. Give the video a thumbs up if you like the content. And I will see you in the next video.